In this video, we are going to be learning how to cut and sew a jumpsuit for a child. And this particular one we are making in this video is for a child that is over 2 years, like 2 years plus. And right here is the lace fabric that we are going to be using for this project. We are going to be lining this with skin color crepe. Here is the crepe I'll be using as the lining. So the white lace will be the main fabric and this crepe will be the lining. These are the basic measurements you need for this particular project. So here are the basic measurements you just need to measure on the child, or you need to know before you can cut and sew a jumpsuit like that. Firstly, we are going to be drafting on our pattern paper. So we'll be drafting the half length of this cell on our pattern paper. After cutting on my pattern paper, I measured our shoulder divided by 2. I didn't add any allowance because this jumpsuit does not have sleeve. Then I measured our armhole divided by 2. I came downward with 1 inch from the armhole curve that I drew. I marked a neckline. I used neck width of 5 on fold of 2. I used 2.5 and then neck depth of 3. And I proceeded to drawing a shoulder slope. The next thing is I marked a half length. I added 1.5 inch. I divided our bust by 4. I marked that. I added 1.5 inch allowance. I'm going to be adding all my allowance on this pattern before transferring it to my main fabric. Then our bust and waist is the same thing. So I'm just going to mark the bust line down to the waistline, and basically that is it for the half length. We proceed to cutting this out. Now I'll be using this half length, this pattern, to cut out the back panel first, because the neckline for the back is just the edge. So that was the main reason I started my cutting with my pattern paper. So I'm just going to bring my pattern paper and place it just the way I'm placing on my main fabric. I'm cutting for the back first. You can just pin this down so that it doesn't shift, and then you trace it out. When you are done cutting for the back, you can now cut for the front. So place your pattern paper on your main fabric and just trace it out. Then the back panel is this kind of neckline. It's a V-neck, but it is the edge that will be the neckline, and then this is the front panel for the half length. And that's it for the half length. I'll keep this aside. After cutting the half length, I cut a sleeve. When my fabric is on fold of 2, I divided an armhole by 2 and I marked that. I marked our sleeve length. I proceeded to draw in an armhole curve, and then on the wrist, I divided our wrist by 2. I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance. I came up a little bit. I divided the measurement by 2. I added 1.5 inch sewing allowance, and I just connected all these points together, and then I cut it out. I cut for the first sleeve and I used that one to cut the second one. After cutting, you face your two sleeves right side to each other, and then you just trim out the front on the armhole curve. So for the down of the jumpsuit now, I'll be cutting for front first. I divided a hip by 4. I marked that while my fabric is on fold of 2. I added 2 inches allowance for extending the crouch, and then 1.5 inch allowance for sewing. This helps me to know the exact place to stop my fold for the front panel of the lower part of the jumpsuit. After doing this, I proceeded to marking a full length. A half length is 9, so I put 9 up, and then our full length is 30. Then because this fabric has edge, I will not be folding it down, so I added just 1 inch allowance for joining this to the half length, and I proceeded to cutting it out. Transferring our measurement into the fabric now, I divided our waistline by 4. I added 1.5 inch allowance. Then I measured our crouch. Our back crouch is 10. Our front crouch is 9. So I marked 10. After marking 10, like 1 inch above 10, like on 9 inches now, we're going to be dividing our hip line by 4, and then whatever you get, you mark that. After marking that, you'll be adding 2 inches allowance for extending the crouch and 1.5 inch for sewing. So I'll be connecting these points together just the way I'm connecting now. The next thing is to measure a tie. This baby girl's tie is just 13. So the tie will be divided by 2, not by 4 like every other measurement. So I divided a tie by 2, and since it's a straight jumpsuit, like a straight cut kind of jumpsuit. I just cut it straight down. I didn't pencil the tip of the jumpsuit. Then I placed this on another fabric that is on fold of two for the back. When you are cutting for the back, you have to leave, since I'm cutting for a child, I'm leaving 1.5 inch allowance at the back. This is just for extending like the butt area so that there will be enough room to accommodate the butt or the diaper. Then you just proceed to cutting. But you see this 1.5 inch allowance, the main place we need it is just the bust region. So at the leg side, I'm going to reduce it. On the waistline, I reduced it as well. But on that butt region, I used the exactly 1.5 inch. After this, I proceeded to reducing the front crouch. You know, I said the front crouch is 9, the back crouch is 10. So I'm just going to deduct 1 inch from the front crouch and cut it out just the way I did. Now we are done cutting the main fabric. The next thing is to start cutting the lining. Remember I said we are using this crepe for the lining. So to start cutting the lining, you're just going to place all your pieces on the lining and then you cut it out. So my lining is on fold of two now. You know, when I say lining now, I'm referring to this crepe. So it's on fold of two now. I just made it 1 inch shorter than the whole length of the jumpsuit. I made it 1 inch so that after I've folded the tip of my lining, it will end up being 2 inches shorter than the jumpsuit. And for the half length, the lining is just going to be like tube. For the front panel, it's going to be like tube underneath the half length. It's not going to start from the neckline. And for the back panel, this is the kind of, like, this is the shape I cut for the line. This is how it is. It's not starting from the neckline, as you can see. So the next thing to do after this is to start sewing. So to start sewing, that place my finger is running across, you double fold it neatly. Then this other side too, you double fold it neatly for the two back panels. For the tip of the trouser, the tip of the lining, you double fold it neatly for the front and the back. When you are done folding and giving all of them a good press, you are going to turn the two sides of your half length first. So the right side of your main fabric is going to face the wrong side of the lining and then you turn. Then I used bias to turn the neckline. I turned the back as well. After turning, the next thing is to turn the down. So to turn the down of this jumpsuit, when I was done turning the back panel, this is what is looking like. I'm just trying to show you what is looking like. Then to turn the down of the trouser part of the jumpsuit, you will just turn these places that my finger is running across. You won't turn the up and you won't turn the down. You will turn the crouch region. You will turn the two sides. Don't forget that before you turn, the right side of the main fabric has to face the wrong side of the lining. So after turning and pressing, you put the two front panels together and then you sew the crouch region just like I did. And this is what it's looking like at this point. Then you fold your half length into two, put a notch at the middle, you pin the middle of the upper part to the middle of the lower part of your front panel and then you join them together. When I was done doing this, this is what it's looking like at this point, and that is it for the front. Moving over to the back now, we are going to join the half length as well. Please make sure that the zip side for the up is on the zip side for the down. Don't mix it up. So you join the half length for the two panels for the back. After doing this, the next thing to do is to fix your zip. So to fix your zip, you are going to put the two panels together, right side facing right side, and then you determine how long you want your zip to be. I just picked up my zip and placed it on my jumpsuit. Then I marked how long I want it to be. So from that you're marking, you are going to sew whatever is remaining inside the crouch. You're not going to extend your sewing downward. It is just what is remaining inside the crouch that you stitch. After this, you can now fix your zip. So when I was done fixing my zip, next thing I did was to join my shoulder lines together. And when you are joining your shoulder line, please slant your hand from the neck region to the armhole side. So I did this to the two shoulder lines and it is now time to shape. I love to start my shaping from the back. So I placed my two panels together, front and back panel, right side facing right side. I divided our bust by 4, I marked that. Our waist divided by 4, I marked that. When I wanted to mark for her hip, I made sure that the two panels they are on the same line, like on the same line before shaping. When you do this, you will see that there will be a little bit of excess on the zip side. It's okay. So just the way I'm doing it, on the zip side now, I have 1 inches. So I'm going to be deducting, I have 1 inch to the left, 1 inch to the right. I'll deduct that from my hip before dividing whatever is remaining by 4 I'm marking. Then I joined this all these points together and then I stitched it. After that, I flipped my jumpsuit to the other side. Now I'll be dividing a measurement by 2 now, no longer by 4. And while I'm measuring for the hip, I'll make sure that, or while I'm sewing for the hip, I'll make sure they're on the same level. You can see the way I'm putting the back inside so that front and back will be on the same line. Please don't let it stay out before you shape. So the next thing is you turn it over to the down of the jumpsuit and then you want to measure a tie now. At the tie region, make sure that the two panels are on the same level as well, like on the same length. No one is sticking out or longer than the other. And then you divide our tie by 2 and I stitch, since it's a straight cut, I just stitched it from down upward. When I got to the other side, I divided our tie by 2 as well and then I stitched it down, and basically that is it for the shaping. The next thing to do after this, guys, is if you are not sure of what you shaped or what you will shape on the other leg, you can just measure what you have in the other one and then you transfer that measurement to the other leg, and that is it for the shaping. So when I was done shaping, at this point my jumpsuit is already looking like this. The only thing left is for me to just attach the sleeve. So you can see I already retrimmed the armhole at this point. The armhole is 11. So I already retrimmed the armhole to 11. So for the sleeve, I'm just going to be shaping the sleeve. I'll fold it into 2. Then I'll mark a wrist divided by 2. I'll mark that. Around the bicep region divided by 2, and then a armhole divided by 2. I'll mark that. Then I'll shape the sleeve and proceed to attaching this inside my armhole. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any question, please don't forget to ask me down in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.